Jake from the Idabros coming at you guys with another set of replays today. This time I did have just, we're going to do two replays with Fire Fist. Just getting some games in, and I said it in my previous Inzector video. I'm just having a really hard time having games that I feel like have decent enough interactions to actually show. So I'm going to keep going with it, though. We'll see if we get some more after this week. And then, of course, maybe jump back into the GB challenge, the Project GB, see what other changes or games or, with any other new decks, how the GBs kind of fare. Quick other topics, just really quick before we jump into the replays. First of all, shout outs to the bros that went over to YCS Portland. Shout out to Brian. He actually ended up going X3-1, so it ended him at 96th in terms of like final standings. And Brandon ended up going and got 199th. So shout out to those guys. Definitely, I'm sure was a pretty fun event. We're looking forward to anything else that happens, up in this area that we could travel to without having to, fly or whatever the case is. And hopefully I'll be able to go to the next one personally. So shout out to those guys. I am looking at going through and uploading another anime recap video today. So, if that's something that you're into. If not, whatever. I just enjoy going over them. So take a look into that. Other than that, let's jump on into the replays here. So we're going against this. It's like a True King Crusadia deck. We started off with kind of the normal play going into Raven. And what I tossed there, I'm going to pause it just really quick because this is an interaction with one of the new cards if you haven't seen it. This is Domi, and usually this is going to be used to ritual summon the Fire Fist ritual monster. But in this scenario, we use a secondary effect, which is if it's face up and sent to the graveyard, it has a special summon for a Fire Fist. So what we did is, at that point, we went into Rooster, used Rooster's effect to toss it into the graveyard and grab the Tanky. And then from there, that got us the Raven back, and we were able to go through and get the Eagle out of that. Now, sorry, I'm going to press play here. We use the Eagle's effect to essentially like Foolish Burial, so just start thinning some stuff out. And then I was able to draw a dragon. Now the tough part is it would have been really nice if I had some way to get that dragon out right now, whether or not, if I still had a normal summon left, or if I had one of the GB monsters that let me go through and special summon from hand. I didn't. So what we see is he had his... we stopped the search, so he couldn't go full Crusadia combo, but still had True King and Nine-Tailed Fox. So now we're moving forward. I was able to use the dragon this time because I still had the Tensu up, and we're just kind of going off, trying to get some, trying to make some moves, right? So ultimately, I did go through and throw everything for the Boral Sword, so I could start just trying to clear out what he had. And what we saw there is he got the first of the dragons out. So the tough part about this guy I found is just that, it doesn't die by battle, right? So it kind of puts us in a weird place when we're looking at establishing a board, because we have to be okay with, if I don't have any way to get rid of it and it doesn't have more attack, then I'm just going to get hit, right? So we're doing some cool stuff here. I'm going to pause for just 1 second. So we ended up going and fusing for Swan using one of the other new Fire Formation cards. And then from there, we used it, another Domi, to go through and grab Eland. And when I went through and activated, I forgot already which Fire Formation it was, but it allowed me to go through and get Panda out, and Panda special summons from the graveyard. So I just went through in that same ritual material monster that I just used, right? I was able to go through and get it back with the Panda got back to Swan. So that was pretty awesome. And then went through, got the dragon back. And this is kind of what I was talking about there. Like, I have all these monsters, but in terms of like interactions, that specific monster was just really difficult to get over. But luckily for me, he went into VFD, or True King of All Calamities, and then was going to try and negate my monster effects. But with Elin, I could go through and negate the activation of that. And because I have Eagle out, I didn't even have to pay any sort of cost. It just did it for free, and then I was able to go through Boral Sword over it for game. So that was a pretty interesting game. Now this one, I believe it's going to be against the same deck. We have a little bit different of interactions here. So this time I drew double Ash Blossom, unfortunately, on an opening hand. Dragon with really nothing else. And this has kind of been my experience with this specific deck, is like I'll get pieces. Like, you want Dragon. Dragon's really good, right? It's necessary to get moving. But like, I don't need Dragon until I already have Eagle out, because that's when it really sees its usefulness. He tried to hit me with the Phoenix, but I had the 1/10 up, so I had more attack. So that was pretty awesome. From here, we lose the dragon, get in the spirit. Don't have anything for spirit, so just throw the Domi down. Now, honestly, I should have activated this. I guess it didn't really matter. But the tough part about the fire formations is they only get that effect when they're sent to the graveyard face up. So, like, even right there, I could have, for one of the effects that just happened, flip the Domi face up, sent it, and then grab the dragon with a special summon. So, like I said, definitely not the best plays overall. But I feel like there's something to be said, being able to catch those, especially in a replay, and say, hey, next time if I'm in this situation, here's what I would do better. The saving grace that we just saw here was being able to go into Cardinal and having Eagle up, not having to pay anything, and spinning cards back. And that allowed us to go through, clear the field, and we had enough damage to push for game. So that was pretty awesome. From there, just going to do a quick profile of what I have right now. It's really funny because it seemed like back in the day it was like, 3 access, 4 access, and then it was 3.5. And, now we have, level 5 monsters, we have rituals. The deck has really progressed with the new support, which is pretty awesome. So we got the 3 Panda. That's one where if you activate a fire formation, you can special summon it, and it grabs a graveyard Fire Fist, which is awesome because there's no restrictions on that. So if you have like a Swan like I did, or you can go for Rooster, get Rooster's effect. It's pretty awesome, and it has a secondary effect to avoid destruction, I believe. Dragon is really the extender of everything, especially again with Eagle, because I feel like the big reason that it might have not gotten as much play prior. I think it was always ran, and if you had a 4-access build, I'm pretty sure there was at least 1 or 2. But having to have those 2 face-up fire formations to send seemed like it was always the downfall of running that. With Eagle, it doesn't matter though, so like max it out. A buffalo, a bear, 3 elephants. So this one is when it's normal special summoned, you could send a fire formation to special summon another fire fist from hand. So again, just doing whatever we can to get those monsters out and get the ball rolling. 2 roosters, 2 spirits. It's tough because like spirit, my only spirit targets are what, either itself, I believe, Rooster, or I want to say there's one more, but it's Leopard. Um, I don't know, but it feels really limited. Like I have had so many situations where I draw it and I just don't have any summon, like anything to summon with it, and then like that's it. Like it's dead. Three Raven, which is crazy that it's become one of the most essential pieces, just because it could go into the link one and it could trigger, the scent from the field, and you get the fire formation. You go off from there, so that's pretty awesome. A couple, three Ash Blossom, one Leopard, one Elan, negates monster effects. It's awesome. Three Tensu, two of our fusion. This one also, when it's sent to the graveyard, adds a Fire Fist from graveyard hand, which is pretty awesome. 3 Tenki, 2 Domu, one of the field spell. The field spell is pretty cool. I just, and again, I've tried one of the builds that I was testing. I was playing like 2 or 3 and a terraforming. Um, I think the tough part for me is like it takes so much for it to actually work, right? Because really what you're looking for is either the 6 counters or the 10 counters. So, because the 6 adds a Beast Warrior from deck to hand, and then the 10 special summons one from the extra deck, ignoring summoning conditions, which, I'm looking right now and I didn't put the Herc in here, but that's to go through, and usually you grab Heraclinos with it, Gladiator Beast Heraclinos, and then you have, all the spell and trap negates, because usually the deck has a pretty sizable hand. It's just, in all of the games that I've played, if I get it, it ends up being so late in the turn. Like, it's nice if I have it, don't get me wrong. Like, I wouldn't not play it because it does have utility to it. But at the same time, it's like I don't know if I would play more, just because it doesn't. It's more of like a passive card. Uh, uh, anyways, uh, 3 impermanents, another Tensin, 2 of the counter traps, which is those are super good. Um, 2 of the new fusions. We got 1 Horse Prince. I put in a Time Redoer just because we could go into rank 4s. Um, Honestly, though, looking at this right now and seeing that I forgot the Heraclinos, I'd probably switch that out for the Heraclinos. 2 Tiger, King, 1 Cardinal, 1 Lion Emperor, Boral Sword, some Nightmares, 2 of the Eagle, which is amazing. 1 of the Peacock. This one will go through and take control of an opponent's monster. It's really good if you haven't already used Panda, because Panda locks you into Fire Fist, and none of the Fire Fists, in terms of like extra deck ones, like you have to use either Fire Fist or Beast Warriors. But if you haven't used Panda, you could seal it in this rank into Unicorn and then go from there, or whatever the case is. If I could have made it on one of the other games, I could have took something and pushed for game, whatever it is, right? Still a pretty good card. And then our Salmon Great to go through and have the Raven, do its thing. So that's what we have in terms of the Fire Fist games. Quick profile. Again, any suggestions or tech choices or things that you've tested and maybe, you've seen better success with, definitely let me know. I'm super open to it. Deck is fun, but I'm, like I said, next time I might just go back to GBs and see if we could get some good games in with GBs with some maybe different decks, and then go from there. Again, this is Jake with Idabros. Definitely thank you very much. Anybody that's interacting with the video at all, commenting, liking, just watching, whatever it is. Don't forget to do that. Comment, rate, subscribe, hit the bell, all that kind of good stuff. Look out for the other videos that we have going on, and peace out.